hard work and determination of our area athletes. This is The Score on WQAD News 8.
Good evening and welcome to The Score Sunday. The winter season is in full swing, and some of the tournaments that we missed last season due to COVID are back and are getting ready for big events later this week. That would be the Genesis Iowa-Illinois Shootout after being canceled last year. The one-day shootout that has teams from Iowa and Illinois playing each other is back. We'll talk with event organizer Pete Ivanek about this year's event. Then we'll hear from local coaches about their feelings about what they missed last year with the shootout being canceled. And our FCA Story of the Week features two Blackhawk women's basketball players that have been longtime friends. Iowa football is preparing for the Citrus Bowl. We'll get the latest with the Hawks and who won't be playing in this year's bowl game. Well, after a year off due to COVID, one of the biggest days and biggest shootouts in the area is back. The Genesis Iowa-Illinois Shootout will be played this upcoming Saturday at the Carver Center. We caught up with the tournament organizer to get his thoughts on this year's tournament and its return. We're now joined by Pete Ivanek, the Genesis Iowa-Illinois Shootout Tournament Director. And Pete, first of all, thanks for joining us on a Sunday and talking about this great event that is back this year.
But we're back.
We're back. I know it's a great thing. But before we talk about being back, let's go back a year. Obviously, the world had stopped essentially for COVID and events and everything that you probably had been planning came to a halt, a screeching halt for you guys.
Yeah, it did. And I tell you, it wasn't, I don't think it wasn't a tough decision to forego doing the Genesis Shootout in 2020. If the event would have gone on, we would have done it. We would have had to have done it without fans. Maybe even without parents. Who knows? I can't really remember what the state of Illinois was mandating at that time, but it would have been a much more scaled down version. It probably would have been a hollow Carver Center for all of the games. And who knows? I've been at quite a few games here over the last 3 weeks, and I've looked back at some records for the teams that I've seen play, and a lot of teams were canceling games, postponing games in December. There were a lot of games that were COVIDed off, I guess you could say. So who knows if we would have went through the event with all 7 games, even if it would have happened. So I think clearly we probably made the right decision. We didn't want to put anything on the shoulders of the ADs or the coaches to feel like they had to come. Even I'm sure safety is first for everybody, and we're just looking out for that. So I think we went public with it like in the middle of the summer. So we gave everybody enough time. Look, we're just not going to do this. It looks like it's a little too difficult to put on. But this year it looks like things are different. We are going to ask all the fans that come next Saturday to wear a mask. That is a mandate that everyone in Illinois is following. Augustana has asked us to follow that as well. So bring your mask. The only times you really can't wear it are when you're eating or drinking. The players don't have to. The players and the coaches aren't required to wear masks. But I think you've noticed probably too, going to some of the Illinois games, that a lot of the boys or the girls are wearing masks, or the masks are, have fallen maybe down their chin and around their necks, but they're still wearing them.
Mm-hmm. Did it make you, I guess that decision back in the summer last year, did it make it easy knowing everything that was going on for the safety of everybody? And then as we got closer to that point, there was a lot of teams, even on the Iowa side, that weren't playing last year because of COVID. A lot of them didn't even start till January. So it probably did make that decision a lot easier.
It made it a lot easier. We just didn't need the event to happen then. But we're back this year, and to be honest with you, some of the games that I've been to here over the last 3 weeks, all the coaches, all the ADs, some of the fans, some of the parents that I've encountered, they're really looking forward to the event. So I would come early. There's probably going to be a lot of people there. And I think we have some good matchups, but I think just not having it that one year is probably going to draw. It's probably going to help us attendance wise. So we're looking forward to a fantastic day.
Did it make you kind of realize what this community has with the shootout by not having it last year?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was a loss, like all the other, the John Deere Classic, how the Bix was handled, some of our other annual events that you can count on that just weren't there, or weren't there to its fullest capacity. Like, for instance, I was at Friday night, I was at Assumption for their boys game with Pleasant Valley, and it was the first time that Assumption's full student section was able to be at a home basketball game. I think last year they just made the student section for like juniors and seniors, or maybe just seniors, to keep the numbers down, to keep it a little more safe. So that's great to see. It was a great atmosphere too, and hopefully we'll have that on Saturday.
So when we have the event this in like 7 days on December 18th on Saturday, obviously we're following, and you guys will be following Illinois protocols. Is that correct? So like you said,
Yes.
Fans have to wear masks.
Yes.
Players don't have to wear them while they're playing. Is that correct?
They don't have to. They don't have to. Players and coaches, I was told, do not have to. But again, I've been to a few games on the Illinois side, and I've noticed players are wearing them.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what else can fans expect this year? Anything new, exciting that fans can expect outside of just the basketball itself?
Now, we've got some performers going. I think the Metro Youth team will be there with their drums and their dancers, and which is always a highlight. It's always a great, those kids put on such a great show. That'll be halftime of the last game. We're kind of in the mindset, like myself, our other organizers, Greg Cooper from Genesis Health System, Bill Horrell, Mike Sapolsky. Doing new things isn't really something that we're into. We just want to give the kids a good, clean, safe environment to play 7 basketball games, and we want the fans to come out and cheer for their team and have a good time. So since I've kind of been involved over the last 15 or 20 years with the event, I've kind of put the focus back on the kids, put it back on the game. So we don't have, silly stuff at halftime or anything like that, or half-court shots. We just want the kids to play in a good, clean, safe environment.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the 7 games that you have planned for this year, kind of take a little bit closer look at the matchups and work our way through the day and what fans can expect. We'll have that coming up next right here on The Score Sunday.
The Score continues on WQAD News 8.
Welcome back to The Score Sunday. We are still joined by Pete Ivanek, the Genesis Iowa-Illinois Shootout Tournament Director, talking about the tournament being back. We just had the last segment talking about everything that fans can expect. Let's talk a little bit now about the day and the play on the court. Everything starts 10 a.m.
Yep.
But for you, your day probably starts a little bit, if not a lot earlier than that. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably, actually it's been like 3 years since I attended. Last year we didn't do the event. The year before I was on a work trip in Palm Springs playing golf that day.
That's a rough trip.
Yeah, it was it, and I had played the best round of my life with given clubs by the country club we were at too. So it's been a while since I've been there. I'll probably show up at 8 or 8:30, and we'll hang a lot of banners, move some tables around. We'll get our press room, our hospitality room in line, and then the food will come in, and then the next thing you know, it's 10 o'clock, and all of them in the West will tip off, and the next thing you know, it's like 5 o'clock, and UT and Assumption are out there. I mean, it's kind of a blink of an eye type day that once you get that first game or two in, and then everything, okay, I remember what to do. But it's going to be a great day. We've got some good matchups, especially the last 2. And Corey, how we decide these games, we let the coaches vote on seeding the teams for the day. So if you're an Illinois side coach, we ask you to vote for the Illinois schools and rank them basically 1 through 7. And then what I do is I add up all the votes, like right here, and I just add up. I add up all the votes, and the lowest vote getter plays in the top game.
Sure.
And this year Rock Island or Moline edged out Rock Island by just a couple of votes in that process. And on the other side for the Illinois or the Iowa schools, it was a 1 vote difference between North Scott and Pleasant Valley in the last game. I just saw PD play Friday night. They're really good. It's Steve Hillman. You get one chance. They're going to rebound it. Then they're going to take it down and run 30 to 40 seconds off the clock, tire you out, and put up a good shot. Hopefully it'll go in. But they've got a tough test with Rock Island. They're very athletic. I know Nimmers went off last night. I think he set a school record against Hempstead. They've got so much coming off the bench. So we'll see that weird style. It's a different style. You're going from a team that wants to Showtime Laker you to a team that just wants to settle you down and let's just play from half court and we'll slow it. So that it's going to be interesting. We got a lot of and then the Moline North Scott games got some college talent. I guess those last four teams that you're going to see good college talent, which helps draw crowds. People like to come and see those Division I athletes compete.
The one thing I noticed looking at this year's shootout, Riverdale not in. Sure. Sterling's in. Was that a decision made because Sterling now is part of the Big Six and it just makes sense to kind of pit the MAC essentially against the Big Six?
Yeah, it kind of was. Riverdale was great to us. They always brought a nice small crowd. They kind of understood that they're probably going to be placed in that first game, 10 a.m. game every time. Actually, I think they won a few games too in the years that they were in and had some good teams. I was contacted, I think Bob Swanson, just a few years ago when he was still running the conference, said, hey, Sterling is indicated we're letting Sterling and Geneseo in, but Sterling really wants to be in the shootout. If there's anything coming up that we can do. And then I started hearing from Greg King, their retired athletic director, who now I think runs the conference. And he indicated that also. And I talked to a few people, talked to a few coaches, and it just seemed like a move that was a good thing to do.
As the day progresses, obviously the day gets long for you guys that are working behind the scenes and everything you have to do, but is it fun to see the crowd kind of to file in? And as you get to that 6:45, 8:15 game, it's packed. And I remember there's standing room only. They're standing all around that place at the Carver Center.
Yeah, again, I think we're going to have that again this year. I do. And again, as I said in the previous segment, come early. It's $5 to get in per person. We keep the price low because we want to make it a family event so you can bring everybody. We also make it $5 because it's easier to exchange money at the gate. It really is. We years ago, I think we put it at $6 or $7, thinking, hey, maybe we can make an extra buck. And it just slowed down the lines at the gate. So that's why it's $5. Really, we just want an easy day for everybody. Augie does a great job with the concessions. With the concessions, you can pay by credit card, so you don't have to bring a whole lot of bills and stuff with you for the day. If you want to leave and come back for a later game, we'll stamp your hand. You can do that. It's perfectly fine. We've got a great lineup of sponsors. Genesis Health System is you can't get anybody bigger as far as the sponsor goes. That's a real Quad City company. Right. They're up there with everybody. And then ORA and Eye Surgeon Associates, Green Auto, IH Mississippi Valley Credit Union, Crawford Company, Quick Star, Group O. So we get a lot of good support from the community too.
So if a fan wants to come for that first game and not come back till 5 o'clock, that's not a problem.
Yeah, you might lose your parking spot. You might be parking a little farther away, but it's not a problem. If you're a West fan, but maybe your nephew plays for Moline, come on back. We'll invite you back.
And if fans can't get there, MediaCom will still be broadcasting the game and showing them later, right?
Yeah, and actually they'll be streaming the games this year. Our TV crew's been doing that here for most of the year. So if you have, say, if your son plays for one of the teams and grandma and grandpa live, out of state, then they can follow along live with MediaCom Stream.
Excellent. Well, we're looking forward to the return of the Genesis Iowa-Illinois Shootout. It is on Saturday, December 18th. First game tips off at 10 a.m. Last game around 8:15, give or take.
Hopefully.
How the day goes, right? We just don't know yet, but
just no overtimes. That's all we want.
No overtimes. We'll talk about
we don't need any overtimes.
Absolutely. Again, $5 gets you in for a whole day of basketball, and if you are a basketball junkie and stick around the whole day, you're going to have a great day. Pete, I want to thank you for joining us and talking about this event that is back, and we're still looking forward to it.
All right. Thanks, Corey. I'll see you next weekend.
So after being gone for a year due to COVID, the players, coaches, and fans are excited for the return of the Border Battle Bragging Rights basketball games. The best from Iowa and Illinois will collide at the Carter Center for 7 games between Iowa and Illinois. Of late, the Iowa side enjoying success, winning each of the last 5 shootouts. Bragging rights will no doubt be on the line, and after that year away, the kids and coaches appreciate a great event even more than ever.
Obviously COVID is real and we're not taking that lightly, but these are the moments that kind of makes us feel a little bit normal and regular again. And I know that our fan base and the basketball community here in the Quad City area, I know they've all been looking forward to it. I mean, there's always been a buzz around this, but I feel like the buzz is going to be bigger.
I think it just gives you another sense that we're getting closer back to normal. And last year was a tough year, particularly for our program. We didn't play our first game until January. And it's hard to watch those seniors kind of go through that. And, you're just happy that these seniors that are going through the program now are going to have that experience. We've had a nice run on the Iowa side here the last 6-8 years. So, and Illinois has got some really talented teams, especially at the top. So I'm sure they're ready for payback, and we're going to do all we can to keep fighting for Iowa.
I think the kids look forward to it, the student bodies look forward to it, and I think the communities look forward to it. So I think you can just tell from the beginning to the end, this is one of the great events of the basketball season.
Full day of basketball on December 18th tips off at 10 a.m. An all-day ticket for 7 games, just $5. Friendship. How 2 former competitors have built up a lasting friendship. It's next in our FCA Story of the Week on The Score Sunday. Team building is key as coaches bring it all together. Blackhawk women's basketball coach Logan Fry has opened the door of a special friendship as the Braves take it to the court. FCA's Dan Pearson has the story.
I think we are just 2 peas in a pod. It's like a dynamic duo.
Yeah, right.
This duo competed hard against each other in high school for 4 years in basketball and volleyball. Lexi for Wethersfield, Carly for Sherrard.
As an opponent, I definitely was kind of intimidated. She was a lot taller than anyone on my team, and I had known that she was pretty good throughout her high school career. She was a little pistol when we went and played against them in high school. She was always super quick and one of their best point guards, and yeah, it was hard to play against her, but she was good, and I couldn't wait for her to be on my team.
From rivals to teammates to best of friends as they play basketball for Blackhawk College. A blessing as they made the move to college.
I really did not see that coming at all, but I remember playing her in high school my senior year, and she came to Wethersfield our senior year, and our recruiting coach Logan, he was there talking to both of us. I'm like, oh my gosh, who is that girl? But then she ended up getting a hold of me, and it just worked out that we ended up becoming roommates, and now we're best friends and we do everything together. We had no idea we were going against each other on the court, and now we've become the best of friends, and I wouldn't have traded for the world. She's awesome, and she's a bundle of energy.
It's great, whether they're competing against each other at practice, competing with each other on game night. They're 2 kids that are gonna do great things, both right here at their time at Blackhawk and in the future.
Basketball, being teammates, being roommates is certainly special for this growing relationship. And how enduring could this be? They're seriously talking about transferring to the same four-year school.
It's amazing that just a short time of a year and a half of playing basketball that would create such a lifetime of memories.
I think being roommates has really taught us a lot about each other, and it's grown our faith. We push each other to be the best we can be, and it's a friendship that we're going to have for the rest of our lives, and I'm really thankful for that.
And for the here and now, the friendship also adds to their basketball experience.
She's definitely my accountability partner. I mean, I know when I get down, she's able to lift me back up and keep me going throughout the game, and she just keeps me going.
This dynamic duo, these two peas in a pod, are more proof of the power of sport beyond the X's and O's. With the FCA Story of the Week, I'm Dan Pearson.
Thanks, Dan. Time for our last break. Up next, preparing for the bowl game. How Iowa is getting ready to play Kentucky in the Citrus Bowl, and who won't be playing with them down in Florida. It's next on The Score Sunday. It was a whirlwind of emotions for the Iowa football team just 1 week ago. From a frustrating loss to Michigan to a Citrus Bowl berth, the Hawkeyes head to the holidays with still plenty to play for. Coach Kirk Ferentz and company receiving the news last Sunday. It's Iowa and Kentucky on New Year's Day in the Citrus Bowl right here on WQAD. The Hawkeyes will have their hands full with a much improved Wildcat team led by former Hawkeye Mark Stoops. For right now, that 42-3 loss to Michigan still stings, but the Hawks will be ready for a battle come New Year's Day.
But the good news is right now I think we'll put a good plan together. More importantly, we got a group that's already proved this year how resilient they are. And they've gotten back up off the turf a couple times already this year. I have full confidence they'll do it again. And we got great leadership on this football team, really exceptional young guys, and hopefully we'll do our part. I know they'll do their part. So that's it's going to be a team effort for sure.
We're looking forward to our next opportunity, and we have a great opportunity coming up. Finish out the season as this group of guys. Last game we'll ever play together. And I feel like that's what we do. We'll go hit the practice field and we just get back to working.
You got to move on. Take these 2 days. Rest your mind, rest your body, recover, and then we got an opportunity to play in a great bowl against a great Kentucky team and try to get our 11th win of the season. I think that's going to be our big focus moving on.
It's the Hawkeyes and Wildcats in the Citrus Bowl on New Year's Day right here on WQAD. Now, as Iowa gets ready to begin those preparations for the Citrus Bowl, they'll do so without their leading rusher. Tyler Goodson making the announcement on Twitter the other day that he will not be playing in the bowl game and will be getting ready for the NFL Draft. Tyler thanking all of Hawkeye Nation for their support over the years. Goodson led the Hawks with 1,254 rushing yards on 256 carries and 6 touchdowns. He also had 1 receiving touchdown. Iowa plays Kentucky on the Citrus Bowl, as we mentioned, January 1st. That's our show for tonight. We'd like to thank you for watching, and we hope to see you back here next week for The Score Sunday.